Okay. Is this thing on? I'm laughing to myself a little bit about the coincidences. Yesterday I was drawing this part of the Manhandla, and well, let's see if I have the reference. What's this? Yeah, my poor cat died, so we're picking out. We're gonna go with one of these, except imagine a beautiful cat photo instead of a dog. Here you go. I've had to erase and redraw this little section before because the perspective was wrong and the design needed to showcase more of what I consider this homage to. If you've cooked artichokes, then you know that there's this fibrous deliciousness that is the artichoke heart, which is more or less the neck of the artichoke. That's great. Lovely lag. We're just going to be in the season of lag for a little bit until we sort out what's going on there. I've noticed sometimes it's tied to the paint layering effect. And I'll solve this problem every once in a while, but because I have an unprofessional mindset, sometimes I don't recall what the solution is. When it presents itself, I just move on. And then if it crops up ever again, I still don't recall. So the cycle repeats. Anyway, something that feels a little bit halfway between the severed heart of an artichoke. There are these fun striations. Should look like some sort of discarded artichoke heart with all the layers. That's a fun idea. What if it looked like these were somewhat like layers of teeth? Oh, that's cool. That's the fun of being an artist, is even your dinner becomes the inspiration. Do the same over here, but we follow the perspective. So today we have lag on our computer, but today we're not making excuses. I mean, it'll probably go away if I just restart my computer, but we're live, so fuck it. It's 5:40 a.m., which means my children won't be bothering me. Though we'd love it if they do. We just love it if they don't. Okay, now it feels to me like this perspective is working away, like the head is tilting away. This is a top-down angle, so the plane of the ground, the camera is up. You can have this cool head, but the tip of the head, the nose of this creature, the Manhandla head, the chopped off head, is dead, and perhaps there's these networks of slime. To indicate some sort of bloodiness. Like maybe the head was partially chopped off and it, by its own volition, it continued to gnash itself across the battlefield until it was more or less completely severed. Oh, this lag is bad, and it's like I have to blame it on something. Hold on. It won't fix anything, but I'm doing my best. The tongue. You know something's dead when its tongue is just hanging out. And then I realized I was remiss here. Theoretically, on this side of the body, we need to see the remnants of a severed neck as well, still attached to the body. Drawing from the, when I find a good reference, not for myself. I am I'm not an accomplished chef or anything like that, but I'm definitely cooked more than my fair share of artichokes. You can almost see some horrific nightmare person has no idea what they're doing. Artichokes are very healthy. Well, if I could zoom in on here. Of course the internet sucks, so you can't. But you can see these striations. They're very fibrous. They're almost like your... It cooks itself in differentiated lineations, so you can almost pull its strings in between well-cooked tissue. Like removing bits of rope from mashed potatoes. So what can we do to make it look like there's some thickness to a section? And while I wanted a very quiet stream, expecting it so this morning, I want to express a little gratitude to anybody who's watching, and there is something to celebrate because yesterday I crossed 50 followers. A little excessively, to the point of like, whatever, it's now like 56 or something. And I've said as much before, but I have some art accounts on Instagram that have thousands of followers, but they are 90% bots. And I'm like, I'm not a guy that signs up for bots to follow them. And I work for companies that advertise and or own social media networks. So I'm very skeptical about followers, and essentially being important on social media is not as important as being important to people, if one could draw a line in the sand. So where other people have taken time out of their day to give a shit about my little project, I appreciate that. So we've indicated a couple of things. The Manhandla has 4 heads. 3 of them are being discarded and or dead. I believe the last one I need to draw is here. And I'll just really loosely indicate it for now. We're going to use these context clues. The arena I have this battle happening in is essentially sunken in a sand dune amongst ruins. So surrounding this bad guy head are these ripples in the sand. So we're going to have essentially the shifting tracks of this plant creature, and then maybe Link's footprints even will exist. And these dead-headed Manhandla heads will provide context for the rest so that we understand that here, this Manhandla is the last of the surviving heads. And Link is about to finish the job with all this tension, and he knows it. That's why he's not sweating the fact that all these little root tendrils are creeping up on his body, or that the platform he's standing on is about to collapse. Battle is tilted in his favor, finally, and it's not yet time to relax, but it is nearly yet time to relax. Okay, that feels like lots of good context. Whether or not it's clear, I can control the intensity of the lines I've created by doubling up on the layers and then fiddling with the opacity. And now, if I want to control for the... if I make all those lines white, that intensity disappears, but now if I go back in and paint it in as black, I can control via depth that intensity in Z space. Now, here, let's play with this a little bit. So here's that original sketch, and then the effect on top of itself, but discreetly applied where I want it to be. What happened here? What is this? Oh, lovely. I just made a fucked up drawing on top of itself. Okay, well, won't hurt nothing for me to erase it. Oh, shit. All right. Something quite satisfying about this drawing. Well, I don't see much harm in actually just continuing with maybe indicating some of these backgrounds. They can be quite loose. They're not the focal point. They're quite crumbly. I'm going to pull up a reference. This is just a wonderful site of Zelda. Ooh, look at this cool stuff. Can I see the full-size image? Damn, what game was this in? Yeah. Yeah, this is the Gliok as I remember it. Fresh out of the evil jar. Amazing. We'll revisit all that, but that's cool to see. Moving on. To what? Statues. So this guy. Maybe this guy. Or is this the world's tiniest fucked up thing? That's 100% great. Helpful. Better if I just take a picture right here. Okay. Hard to see, but if we look at my original sketch, you might see some family resemblance. Here, this guy is this guy. So what's here in the background is a fallen over statue. And that statue is not important so much for the story, but it's a compositional theme. The gaping maw of this statue reinforces the gaping, greedy, hungry, killing mouth of these plants. So we'll draw some detail into that. And we'll go for another half hour. This is an early stream. Technically, I'm expecting to be getting some work today. At the most. This client has no perception of what a normal work week and the hours within look like. They just know that it's either fire hose on or fire hose off, and the hour and time of day that those notes come in do not matter. And those are not normal circumstances, but they're the circumstances I find myself in this week. So as we discussed before, this camera view is in a top-down angle, so it's well above our heads and pointed down. Well above the head of, well above the ground, pointed down at the ground, but it's got a lot of wide-angle perspective on it, so we're seeing how the Earth curves away from the focal point, meaning there's almost a horizon over here beyond the edge of the picture plane in this direction, because it's not pointed perfectly down, it's tilted a little bit, biased towards Link, so we can see more of his body as opposed to just the top of his head. And where it goes past him, we almost see the side view of things. This is a fun challenge. Take a, what is this, 16 by 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 by 16 image. And render it instead on its side in perspective. 2K detail. And it's a little zen-like. You can't do that. You can't know what the artist originally intended. This artist may be dead by now. The original Legend of Zelda came out not a lifetime ago. By how people conventionally consider lifetimes, but perhaps a lifetime ago. And definitely a generation ago. How much of the other side of the face do we see? How thick do we consider? much do we help the design where we feel it needs it? There's something about this juxtaposition, while reinforcing, has this fun potential for comic relief. A statue, it can be fearsome, can be harmless. I don't see here any indication of bottom teeth, but let's try some out anyway. Some sort of base, even though none is represented here in the drawing. Small indications of where it lies in the sand. We could even have some of the sand crept into the mouth and overlapping areas where it's deepest sunken in, to emphasize that effect. And that exchange of overlaps. Will heighten the effect. It almost looks like Yoshi. Huh. Drawn with a light touch because it's not the focal point of the image. We don't need it stealing the attention. It's not here to steal the show. Let's save. Save ourselves from digital ruin. Left. Let's see if we can just knock out the rest of this background. The project is coming along in chunks and bits. The original Link to the Past architecture scheme was very much just geometry on geometry. circles, balanced on cylinders, balanced on cubes. Very easy to grasp in terms of scale. Simple stairs. Text my wife back. Can I do it? Juxtaposed amongst these rigid geometric ruins are these undulating, not giant dunes of sand, but it's a pit of sand that needs the effect of such. The lighting effects will help it a lot eventually. We'll get there. I've really loved the occasional rib cage or bone sticking out of the sand. Well, that one's a little too obvious, but maybe something like that. Giving a good sense of scale to the height. A bit of a shield. A bit of a helmet. And the nearby rib cage. Is all we need. Okay, now this part I'm going to switch to a different layer. We can draw this structure that Link is standing on. And what I want, and I'm not a genius about this stuff necessarily. I want it to feel like there is a that as the monster's climbing up, trying to get Link. Link is theoretically somewhat safe. Top this platform he's standing on, except now it's crumbling. And there's entire sections of it that are starting to give way, including what he's standing on. Creating the effect that though Link was initially just out of harm's way, that will no longer be the case momentarily. There's this sense in the drawing of this imminency. Something will happen. Very soon. These small but powerful roots are digging into the structure, crumbling it, breaking it apart. The visual of the roots spreading is continued, and the visual of the rock cracking and splintering. Oh, look at that. It's like, what is going on? Why does it have to be so slow? And that just goes in spurts. Like, anyway. I have to refrain from complaining about technical difficulties because it's just not interesting to the stream or anything about it. Look at all these dropped frames. What the fuck? What's happening? Oh. Well, it's life, I guess. I didn't even notice that till just now. Ain't that a bitch? Okay. All right. I hear my son crying. I gotta let you go. Love everybody. Bye.